How you doing, Bill? Thank you for your time. First off, if we pass over to David Anderson from the Daily Mirror. Dave?
Hi, Billy. Okay.
How we going, pal? You good?
I'm indeed. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to chat to us, Bill. I was just wondering, how have you been? It's been a while since we've sort of spoken to you with all this lockdown and stuff, and you've been out for a year, really. What's your mood really ahead of this fight, really? Sort of frustration, or eager to get at it, or what? Or
Just want to get out now and get one in before the end of the year because there's a lot of fighters there now was obviously struggling this side of 2020 to get out. So I've had major disappointment in this year. The Canelo fight obviously falling through in May over the pandemic, and about to roll the dice, and here we are here with Martin Murray on Friday. So we'll let's see how we rock and roll.
yeah, because you've probably seen that, Bill. A few people sort of knocking Martin Murray, saying, "Oh, what sort of opponent is he for you for a world title fight, etc., etc." But what's your reaction to that, really?
Well, listen, if you want to go on professional experience, he's got more experience than me because he's had more fights than me. He's challenged for the world title 4 times. I mean, I could have easily picked, somebody's name ending with, whatever. I couldn't even spell it. From Germany, France, wherever. But Martin Murray, he's a name. He's a 4-time challenger for the world title and should have been 2-time world champion, in my opinion, at least in 2 of them fights. So, and I promised him a shot. And if this is his last one, this is his last one. Or, if this is his lucky night, it's his lucky night. But one thing's for sure, it's his chance.
Yeah. And then, obviously, we've got Callum Smith, Canelo on the 19th. But I know you'll have an interest in that. Do you fancy the winner of that? Or what's the sort of strategy for 2021, really?
I'll leave that to my management, MTK, and to Eddie Earn to make. But obviously, I would love the winner of that fight. If Smith wins it, I'm sure there's a rematch clause in there. But to win that fight, you've got to be incredibly in good shape, good mind, good health. You've got to go in there with a proper camp, and I just don't think 4 or 5 weeks is enough training camp for that sort of fight.
Is that right? Yeah, that's your big concern for Callum, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Callum's got the tools in his box to win, but you have to have the right preparation time and put the man hours in and go over and repeat that for maybe 2 months, 3 months, how to beat him, what strategy you're going to go in there with. And I just think that it's all been crash, bang, wallet, give me my cash and, let's get it on. But listen, I hope I'm wrong and I hope he gets the job done, fellow Brit.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for your time and good luck on Friday.
Thanks, David. If you go to Chris McKenna from the Daily Star next, please.
Billy, obviously you've changed trainers again. Can you just talk us through your kind of thinking behind that and why you've done that?
The other trainers, the toe was hanging out of them, so I had to change trainers. That was weared out. My other trainers, that was weared out. I had a pair of Adidas and I changed them for a pair of Nikes.
Well, what was the thinking with going to Mark Tibbs and back to the Tibbs family?
I just think that it was a decision that, lockdown come, was having no luck. I was at home and, Ben Davison, he set up a gym out in Arlo and, it was hard for him to travel away and do camps, and he's got a lot of fighters there, and it's not right on me dragging him around the country and around the world training camps because I can't do a training camp at home. Everyone knows I need to be away like I have this time, and I don't want to go to someone fresh and new, think they know me, and they don't. So I know the Tibbses know me well. Obviously, Dominic Ingle knows me well, and Ben Davison knows me well. So, that was the strategy behind it.
Obviously, you mentioned there about the Canelo and Alvarez, Canelo and Callum. Was there never any option for you to maybe drop this fight and get Canelo in December, or would you not even have considered it?
No, listen, I mean, I always said in December, if the fight was in December, I always said I'd have been ready. But again, my fight with Martin Murray only got announced, 5 weeks ago? So they had all that time to get in touch and they didn't ring up. And they didn't try to get in contact. So clearly they didn't want me. But, for me to fight Canelo Alvarez, in lockdown, they sort of caught me out a little bit, but which the fight would never have happened anyway because he had his lawsuit. But I wasn't prepared just to go in there and take, millions of pounds and to turn up there half-hearted and half in shape. You know, you got to go, like I said earlier on, to beat someone like him, you have to win convincingly. And I will be on it now until May. And if it's me in May, it's me. If not, then, you know, 100%, I will be pushing my management company, MTK, for a big, big fight next year. It has to be unification, whatever which way it is.
Do you feel you need to put on a really good performance on Friday to force that issue home, to get that big unification fight or the Canelo fight?
Do you know what? As we see the other day, we see Danny Jacobs and Rosado, you know, so we see these type of fights, and, you know, sometimes they pan out in the favourite's favour and sometimes they don't. It's sort of a win-win for Martin Murray, really. Everyone's writing him off and everyone's saying he's old, he's finished, he's this.
Sure. Good luck.
So, yeah.
All right. Cheers, Billy.
See you later.
There you go.
Billy Joe, whatever you say, you are expected to win on Friday night, and then hopefully for you that would take you to Canelo. I'm just wondering why you would beat Canelo, and how can anybody beat Canelo in these current times at the moment? What are your thoughts on that?
Why I would beat Canelo and how I would beat him.
Well, how would anybody beat him over the next year or so, the way he looks?
I know how I would beat him, but, you know, I haven't got Canelo next, so I won't be putting that out over, you know, over to the media in other ways. And I've worked very hard on the game plan for the last 2 years on how to beat him. You know, and when someone when they're giving someone 4 to 5 weeks notice, I believe that's not enough time to prepare mentally in your own head to beat someone like him, because of the fact of the judges, promotions, everything's going to be set up to suit him. I mean, what they'll probably do, they'll probably get Callum Smith out there, and for the duration he's out there, he'll probably be doing stuff like this, just talking, rattling on to the media and talking more than rather getting ready and training and focusing on a game plan to win. But Joe Gallagher's a very experienced trainer, so hopefully, you know, Callum's been under the impression and had the news for the long time that he's fighting Canelo, and maybe we see an upset. But at the minute, I don't see no one beating him without a proper training camp and fully mindset.
Looking forward to Friday. You're quite right to say one punch could do it, obviously, but in most people's views, you're going to be a really red-hot favourite. And would you not agree it's not quite as close as the Dubois-Joyce was on paper, even if Joyce was a 3-1 outsider? I mean, it's all stacked in your favour, isn't it?
Well, listen, to be honest with you, it's stacked in my favour on paper. But as we know, paper can burn, paper can be thrown in the bin. You know, the script can be torn up and thrown away. So, you know, I've been inactive for over a year now. My last performance wasn't the best in the world, you know, for Matchroom. But, you know, I'm really looking in my own head and mindset. I know that I need to bring a performance out where people go, well, you know, no matter who were in front of him that night, he still was going to look sensational. So in my own head, that's what's in my head. And please God, I get that performance out and move on to bigger and better things. But at the moment, Martin Murray is I'm putting him down as the number one and me the number two, you know, for me to make sure that I don't slip up.
You've been around a fair old while. Do you appreciate these fights and these situations more now than you probably did earlier?
I've been around a long time, but, you know, I just think that you've got to be thankful that, you know, we're allowed to even have sport, any sport, in this situation. You know, there's poor people home now. You've got like the elderly at home sitting there alone and you know, not having no one around them. My nan's at home, you know, no one's allowed around her, and it's a very lonely life for them. And, you know, we get the privilege at least looking forward to doing something we love, whether there's crowds there or not. So I've got to really thank, you know, be very, very thankful to my management. MCK has been very, 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 extremely patient with myself and worked alongside me, and Matchroom. So I'm happy I'm out, and we've got to be thankful.
Just like to know as well, what you think about fighting in front of no crowds. How strange is that going to be for you?
Oh, look, it's one of them. When that bell goes, I don't hear any crowd anyway. You know, I don't box. I'm not a crowd pleaser because, out of my 29 fights, if I've took 10 clean punches, then that's a lot. So, you know, I don't fight on the crowd's reaction. I fight on my own intelligence and my own know-how.
I'm looking forward to the fight. Good to see you back in action. Good to see you back in the ring. Good luck.
God bless you. Thank you.